Do come in. No need to be frightened. Come in out of the rain. I'm afraid that your eyes do not deceive you. I am, in fact, headless. Completely, I'm afraid. However, there's nothing to fear. You're welcome to come in and have a seat and get warm by my fire. I'm just reading a ridiculous tale. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. It's absolutely ridiculous. Just listen to this. The dominant spirit, however, that haunts this enchanted region and seems to be commander-in-chief of all the powers of the air, is the apparition of a figure on horseback without a head. It is said by some to be the ghost of a Hessian trooper whose head has been carried away by a cannonball in some nameless battle during the Revolutionary War, and who is ever and anon seen by the country folk hurrying along in the gloom of the night, as if on the wings of the wind. His haunts are not confined to the valley, but extend at times to the adjacent roads, and especially to the vicinity of a church at no great distance. Indeed, certain of the most authentic historians of those parts, who have been careful in collecting and collating the floating facts concerning this spectre, allege that the body of the trooper having been buried in the churchyard, the ghost rides forth to the scene of battle in nightly quest of his head, and that the rushing speed with which he sometimes passes along the hollow like a midnight blast is owing to his being belated and in a hurry to get back to the churchyard before daybreak. Such is the general purport of this legendary superstition, which has furnished materials for many a wild story in that region of shadows, and the spectre is known at all the country firesides by the name of the Headless Horseman of Sleepy Hollow. Now I'd like to point out that just about every word of that description is crap. A Hessian, please. Tell me what you think, lords and ladies of Sleepy Hollow would say if they knew that their resident goblin was in fact a woman. The Headless Horsewoman, that is. I can ride circles around any man. A Hessian, a cannonball. It's all ridiculous. No. What took off my head is, I don't think I know you well enough to share that story. I'm not one to go around speaking about my past traumas. with total strangers. You understand. I see you're beginning to dry off now. Good. Would you like some tea? Oh, good. I didn't want to give it to you anyway. What a night. Normally I'd be out riding by now. But it tends to rain down one's neck, you see, and that's not the most pleasant of sensations. So, here I sit before my fire, reading this trash. Ichabod Crane, Ichabod Crane, Ichabod Crane. All they want to talk about is what happened to Ichabod Crane. Well, you know something. Ichabod Crane was a fool. A fool with too large of an imagination and too small of a brain. I was trying to help him. You see, the girth on his saddle had become loose, and I was trying to stop him and let him know so that he would not fall off of his horse. But how just like a man like him to get carried away. What did he think I was going to do? Everybody says I want to steal their heads. I don't want to steal their heads. I have a head. Would you like to see it? Here we are. Looking lovely, if I do say so myself. No cannonball took off my head. And I do not throw my head at others. No, it's too precious to me to use as a weapon. No matter what anybody says, I did not throw anything at Ichabod Crane. He fell off of his horse because he's a jackass. He was too full of food and drink, and his brain was too muddled with thoughts about that girl. If he had just kept his wits about him, he'd have gotten over that bridge, and he'd gone back to the schoolhouse in one piece, and that would have been that. I would have helped him fix his saddle. But oh no. Poor Gunpowder. He whipped that poor animal. I ought to take his head just for that. But I guess karma does what karma does, because it took care of him right away. They say he was never seen again. They think I took his head and got rid of the body. Foolishness. I would never. If I was going to take a head, it would not be someone that looks as ridiculous as Ichabod Crane. He had a nose as big as any three people, ears with long dangly lobes, bulging eyes, skinny little neck. That head definitely would not have done for me. I have more discerning tastes. Take you, for example. You are quite lovely. A very attractive specimen, if I do say so. And I do say so. You know, I think maybe if you'd like, you could pass the night here. I wouldn't mind spending time gazing upon this lovely cranium of yours. It is very proportionate, very symmetrical. Your features, your nose, mouth, and those cheekbones are quite something to behold. Oh, no. You're in no danger from me. I'm merely admiring that which I used to have. Now I'm afraid is but a memory. Not that you're not lovely. Yes, I can see that despite yourself, you're getting sleepy, aren't you? Well, you're welcome to close those eyes and go to sleep right there. It is quite warm and comfortable inside my cabin. Dry and protected from the harsh winds of the valley. You know, perhaps it would be safer for you to stay here. Yes. After all, I don't go about looking for replacement heads, but someone out there may be. You never know. So why don't you go to sleep? Close those eyes. Yes. I'll even help you. I'll read to you from my book, shall I? Until you can keep your eyes open no longer. Let's see, where were we? hard to find one's page when one has no eyeballs, you see. Ah, here we are. The old country wives, however, who are the best judges of these matters, maintain to this day that Ichabod was spirited away by supernatural means, and it is a favorite story often told about the neighborhood round the winter evening fire. The bridge became more than ever an object of superstitious awe, and that may be the reason why the road has been altered of late years, so as to approach the church by the border of the mill pond. The schoolhouse being deserted soon fell to decay, and was reported to be haunted by the ghost of the unfortunate pedagogue, and the ploughboy, loitering homeward of a still summer evening, has often fancied his voice at a distance, chanting a melancholy psalm tune among the tranquil solitudes of Sleepy Hollow. Are you sleeping? Excellent. Now, where did I put that axe? I can't let a beautiful head like this go to waste.